What's going on, everyone? Mike, aka Sinistermoon, here for the second episode of Shooting the Shit Saturdays. Last episode seemed to go really well. I appreciate everybody's feedback. I do know that, nobody mentioned it, but I want to mention it. I do know that the camera is going to go in and out of focus at times, and that's because of all the CRTs behind me. It doesn't know what to focus on exactly, and so that's kind of what happens. I know that I could use a manual focus, but then I kind of risk having the whole video out of focus because I'm using my cell phone on a tripod, and so I don't have any way to see what the camera is seeing right now. So, yeah, I don't want to have to keep re-recording it or whatever. Let's not deal with that. But anyhow, welcome to the next episode. The first topic today is going to be about YouTube, actually. I've been on YouTube for over 10 years now. Isn't that crazy? Like, you guys have, watched me grow up in a sense, and that's just weird to think about. I watch other people. There's people that have been watching for years on here, and I look at them now and I think about how much they've changed. Some people, like myself, have got fatter, and some people have got thinner, and some people have long hair now, and some people have no hair now, or very little hair now when they used to have a bunch. And, you can see wrinkles in people's faces and stuff, and it's crazy to think about that, I've known some of these people for that long. And it's interesting to think about where YouTube was when I first started and where it's at now. I haven't made a single penny off of YouTube. I know there's a lot of people out there that, make a career out of YouTube and everything. And that's cool, I respect that. How cool would that be to have a career where you just talk about video games all the time or whatever? That's pretty cool. But, things like that never really worked out for me on YouTube. I didn't strike it big or whatever. And it's interesting because there's people that back in the day I had 3,000 subscribers and they had not that much. But now they have way more subscribers than me. I never really pushed people to like my videos and to comment and subscribe and all that kind of thing. And I never pushed to become a partner or any of that kind of stuff. But it is interesting to see how the tables have turned a lot in a lot of situations and everything. And I wanted to give a couple shout outs. First shout out to Vintage Video Game Geek. I couldn't believe it. I thought he stopped making videos. And I go to his channel the other night, and lo and behold, he still makes videos. And on top of that, he actually revealed himself. For the longest time, he wouldn't show his face. But back in 2016, he actually showed the world who he is, and I had no idea until just the other day, because I thought he had stopped making videos. And so, yeah, that was really cool to see. Shoutouts to you, sir. I hope you've been well. Next shoutout is going to be to Maximum RD, otherwise known as Rob. I've been watching him for, I don't even know how many years now, 7, 8 years or something like that. And, same thing with him. I thought he stopped making videos, so I stopped going to his page. And just the other day I noticed he's still making videos, or he's making videos again. And so that's cool, and it's good to see him. And, I've had him on Facebook and everything for years now. And so, I keep up to him, or I keep up with him and everything, but not on YouTube. But now that he's doing the YouTube again, that's pretty cool. And, props to you for coming back, sir. So, next thing I'm going to talk about is my pickups. It was a really dry week Like, I went to the thrift stores multiple times, couldn't find anything anywhere. Last thrift store that I went to the other day, I ended up picking up this guy, and it's a Frogger play and plug. I have the cord wrapped around it. Either way, I couldn't turn it down for $2. It came with batteries and everything, so $2, batteries included, I'll take it. You know, it was kind of one of those things where, like I said, everything was dry. I didn't have a single pickup, and so I know a lot of people think that play and plugs suck, and they do kind of. Well, okay, there's no kind of about it. They suck. Most of them suck. There are a few good ones or decent ones, but most of them suck. Either way, it was a breath of fresh air to see something video game related for a reasonable price. So I had to get it. I didn't have it. That's what I got. And that's it. That's all for the pickups. I have been selling quite a few of my games on eBay, mostly disc-based games. I am only keeping very few of them. Like, I've come to a point with my game collection where I just want killer and no filler. Like, I'm tired of having a bunch of crap games that I'm never going to play. So, best thing to do is get rid of them so somebody else can enjoy them. I typically try to get rid of all my games locally first, because I like to keep the games local if I can, and I prefer to sell them for cheap. And I also like to trade. Trading's always been kind of one of my things or whatever. So, I'll do that first, but if that doesn't work out, then I switch over to eBay. But yeah, so that's been going pretty good. But it got me thinking about the whole reseller topic again. So, it's interesting because, like, maybe about 5-6 years ago, resellers were taboo. They were the bad guys, right? How dare those dirty resellers buy up all of our games and make all that money and nowadays resellers are not as taboo. They don't get as much hate as they used to. And it's because they have this logic where everybody's a reseller. But I gotta tell you, that's not true. Okay? I'll prove that to you real quick. They like to say things like, if you sell a game to a game store, you're a reseller. Or if you go to a yard sale and you buy a game and then you sell it on eBay, you're a reseller. And they also like to turn it on the game stores. The game stores, they buy games for cheap and resell them. They're resellers. There's a difference, okay? So, a game store obviously resells games. That's their business. That's what they're all about. It's expected to get less, like 20-30% for your games at a game store because they have overhead. They have to pay for, rent. They have to pay for their employees and everything else. So obviously the business wouldn't work right, or it wouldn't work at all if they were paying full price. They wouldn't make any money. As a matter of fact, they'd be losing money. And so, yeah, game stores make sense though because you pay top dollar for the convenience. The convenience factor is there. Like if you're looking for a combat on the Atari 2600, there's a good chance that you can go to the game store and pick it up. And also game stores tend to have like return policies, and so if you pick up a game and it doesn't work right, you can take it back and they'll give you store credit or they'll give you your money back or whatever. Now, a reseller is different. Like, a reseller isn't just somebody that has some games and puts them up on eBay or whatever. That's not a reseller, okay? Now, a reseller is somebody that intentionally goes out and buys games, like, with the intention to resell them. That's a reseller. Somebody that tries to make a living doing that. That's what a reseller is. And I'll tell you, those people aren't necessarily good for the gaming community because like I was kind of saying earlier about what people thought about them back in the day, still holds true today. Resellers go to yard sales and the thrift stores and everything, and they pick up those deals that you could have got, and then they flip them on eBay for, so they can feed their family and stuff. And I'm not saying that people haven't done this since the dawn of time, but with video games, it's more people are doing it with video games nowadays because stupid shows like Storage Wars and stuff like that showed people finding games and storage units that they bought and saying that these games are worth a bunch or this system's worth a bunch or whatever it may be. And so because of stuff like that, people are under the impression that games are worth more than what they're really worth. And so people that have no idea, they have no understanding of games, they're not gamers, go out and pick these things up for cheap with intentions of reselling. And that sucks because, like I said earlier, everything was dry at the thrift stores this week, and that happens a lot. And it's because I get there and there's resellers literally just camping out there waiting for the new merchandise to hit the floor. And so the only way for you to potentially get those deals is to camp out there too and beat those other fuckers to the merchandise that hits the floor. And I don't have the time for that, I do and I don't, it's a mess. It shouldn't have to be like that, but that's where it's at, unfortunately. But, it's also kind of on collectors, too. Because, real gamers, in my opinion, will play the game any way that they can get it. If they get it loose cartridge for cheap, that's what they do. If they have to burn it onto onto a CDR, that's what they'll do. If they have to use an emulator, that's what they'll do. Any way that they can play the game is good enough for them until they can afford a better copy or whatever. Whereas a collector tends to go for, complete box games and stuff like that. And so if a reseller goes to the thrift store and finds Mega Man 2 in the box for $3, they'll put it up on eBay, and then a collector will pay full price for it because it's exactly what they need. And so, yeah, it's not just the resellers that are the problem, it's also the collectors, I think. But hey, if you don't take issue with that kind of thing, cool, whatever. I would prefer that the retro gaming market, it's never gonna have there's not gonna be a crash, okay? But I'm hoping that the market kind of falls out a little bit on the retro games because the prices are just through the roof, and it shouldn't be like that. Think about like DOS games. Old DOS games are considered abandonware. Why aren't old Nintendo games abandonware, Drinking some water today out of my awesome Atari mug. I have an Intellivision one like this as well. And I think I'm going to take a quick hit of weed real fast. I'm using my steam roller again. Same weed that I had last time. Different bowl, obviously. But I bought an ounce of this stuff, so, it's going to take me a while to get through it. I've currently been playing Killer Bees for the Odyssey 2. And I gotta say, this game is stupid fun. It's addicting. Once you figure out how to do it, you'll just keep playing it and keep playing it. I just leave it in my Odyssey 2. And, whenever I turn on my game consoles, I just keep playing it. I can have other games going, and I end up just turning them off because I just get so involved in that Killer Bees game. It's fun. It's kind of more on the rare side. Like it's a little bit of a higher priced Odyssey 2 game. I think it maybe goes for like $30-40 loose cart, maybe less if you can get a good deal, but it's definitely not a common, and so don't expect to pay $2 for it, you know. But yeah, it's a good one. Check it out if you get a chance. Other than that, I've been playing my arcade cabinet quite a bit. I played through Double Dragon 3 the other night, and yeah, I didn't like it all that much anymore. Like, I remember it being pretty decent when I first played it, but now I'm just kind of like, I don't know. And then, of course, the game's going on behind me. You got Thunder Force 3 on the Sega Genesis. Love that game. Love the Thunder Force series. And you got Under Defeat for the Dreamcast. One of my favorite games ever. And you got Glay Lancer for the Genesis, or, well, technically for the Mega Drives that came out in Japan. That's a reproduction cartridge, sadly. But, yeah, another one of those incredible shmups for the Genesis, Mega Drive, whatever you want to call it. Love the music, it's incredible, but very expensive game. So I'm glad I have a repo cart, because, yeah, there's no other way that I could afford it. Really, unless I wanted to save my pennies for a minute. But yeah, so that's what I've been playing, and we'll do a quick movie review. We'll talk about Goon 2. If you've seen the first Goon movie, it's a hockey movie. It has what's his name, Sean William Scott, the Stiffmeister. So yeah, you know, I mean, it's mostly about, Goon 2 is mostly about hockey fights. So if you're into hockey, or you just want to see a movie with the Stiffmeister, check it out. I thought it was pretty good. I'd maybe give it like a 6.5 out of 10 or something. It was good enough for a one-night viewing. I don't know if I'd ever watch it again unless somebody happened to be watching it. But it was pretty good. I mean, I just like seeing him act again. You know, it's been a long while since I've seen him in a movie, so that was cool. I finished off Stranger Things 2, which, you know, is technically just it's just the second season or whatever of Stranger Things. But yeah, it was incredible. Loved it. Loved the fact that they brought in Sean Astin. I won't diverge any spoilers, or diverge. Diverge is my friend's band. That's I won't, spoiler free is what I'm getting at. But I will say that people in the gaming community have been making a big stink over the fact that so the boys, the kids in the show are in an arcade in like the first episode, and one of them's playing Dig Dug, and somebody, like a bunch of people have noticed that Dig Dug had a LCD in it, and it's like, okay, chill the fuck out, like, it's not that big of a deal. Obviously the show isn't going to be 100% accurate, and yeah, like, the whole LCD screens and arcade cabinets is just a huge debate for people. Some people think that, you know, it's totally fine to put an LCD in an arcade cabinet, and other people think it's like the worst thing that you could ever do. And I didn't expect the show, I didn't expect the arcade cabinets to be 100% accurate, so it wasn't a big deal for me, but other people made a big deal out of it, and I thought it was pretty funny, but whatever. If you haven't checked out Stranger Things, definitely watch them all. That's one of those ones that I 100% recommend. It's an excellent show. Music reviews. Snoop Dogg apparently released an album called Never Left earlier this year that I had no idea that he put out. I thought it was kind of mediocre. There were like 2 songs on it that I liked. One of them was called Swivel, and the other one was 420 Blaze Up, which was pretty good. It wasn't as good as his Weed Snoop Dogg actually has his own weed line. I don't know if you know that. It's pretty good. It's expensive though. Either way, I'd probably give that album like maybe like a 5 out of 10 or something. It wasn't one of his better albums, and I don't really have any plans to listen to it again, sadly. Next album is going to be Incantations, Profane, Nexus. I didn't like it. I was sad about that, because I used to listen to a lot of death metal, right? Like, every day. Like, it's just death metal, death metal, death metal. Oh, black metal. Oh, back to the death metal I go. I remember Incantation being pretty damn good, but this particular album was so average and just... It was like the most boring, average death metal album I've heard in a good long while. Not to say that there wasn't some good guitar work and some good drum work and whatnot on there. It just was very basic, very average, and none of the songs stuck out to me. And so, yeah, I have no reason to ever listen to that album again. I'd have to give it like maybe like a 4 out of 10 or so. It just didn't do it for me. But you know, like maybe you like it. I don't know. What do you think of that album? Next album I listened to is going to be Bloodlust by Body Count, and I absolutely love that album. It was phenomenal. Like pretty much every song on there kicks ass. And you know, I like Ice-T. I'm an Ice-T fan, and I know a lot of people think he sucks, but you know, I like him, and I love Body Count. Loved their first album, loved their second album, Born Dead. And then I kind of lost track of them. Honestly, I thought they stopped making music there for a while, but it turns out that they didn't. And so there's some albums that I gotta go back and catch up on. But yeah, Bloodlust is incredible. Their cover of Raining Blood is just incredible. Like, and there's a couple other songs on there that I really liked. Either way, I give Bloodlust, I'm gonna say it's like a 9.5 out of 10. Like it's almost a perfect album as far as I can tell. Yeah, it's really good. Check it out. Alice Cooper, Paranormal, didn't care for it. It's kind of all over the place. It kind of made me feel like Alice Cooper forgot how to Alice Cooper. Like there were songs that sounded like the Charlie Daniels Band, and there was another song that sounded like ZZ Top, which kind of makes sense because one of the guys from ZZ Top played on that song. But there's, you know, another song that sounds like 1950s greaser music, and there's another song that is just way too country, and I don't know. It's not a very good album. I think Alice Cooper is past the point of trying to release a really good album. He's past trying. At this point, he's just having fun with it. I'm sure he still puts on a really great live show, but yeah, he's past his album days. Which gets... I'd probably give that one... That one's going to be really low. I mean, that's probably like a 2 or a 3 out of 10 or something. And I did not care for that album at all. Next album. The new Marilyn Manson album. I forget the name of the thing. But I absolutely hated it. I think that Marilyn Manson ran out of ideas a long time ago. Loved his first album, loved his second album, loved Antichrist Superstar. But after that, he just went downhill. I didn't care for Mechanical Animals, although there was like a couple songs on there that I kind of liked. Overall, I didn't care for Mechanical Animals, and it just got worse and worse after that. This album is just dog shit. Like, I don't like it at all. And you know, really, I don't think he's ever gonna top Antichrist Superstar. Like, he's not gonna do any better. Like, maybe if Trent Reznor started whispering a bunch of more ideas in his ear, maybe. But he tries to blame his career going to shit because of Columbine, and that was tragic, and that sucked. But whatever, you know, like, musicians like G.G. Allin did all kinds of off-the-wall shit, and people died, and people, you know, got their asses kicked and tattooed and just craziness, you know. G.G. Allin would, like, drink piss out of hookers, like, you know, straight from the tap, you know. Like, he was a dirty, filthy guy. He would shit all over and, like, wipe it on himself and throw it at people and stuff like a monkey. Like, I mean, G.G. Allin did all that shit, and he still moved forward until he didn't anymore. You know, like, but yeah, Manson, I think Manson pussed out, and it's a letdown. I couldn't be any more let down with Marilyn Manson nowadays. And so yeah, I'd probably give that album maybe I'd probably give it like a 2 out of 10. Like, I was really let down. Anyhow, moving on from the music, we'll do some gaming news and we'll go ahead and wrap this episode up. So the Switch is supposedly getting more third-party games. More third-party companies are signing on to make games and everything for the Switch, and that is pretty cool. That's good news for Switch owners. Personally, it's not enough for me yet. I'm still waiting. I know that seems crazy to a lot of people. I mean, there's a Mario game, there's a Zelda game, and some other stuff. And so that should be enough for people to buy one, but for me it's not. The Doom that just came out recently seems interesting, but I'm gonna wait it out. I still have a really bad taste in my mouth over the Wii U, so yeah, I'm gonna wait longer before I get a Switch. Next item in the gaming news is going to be a bunch of people freaked out because they thought the N64 Classic Mini game list had been leaked, and Nintendo has confirmed that that is not the list, or supposedly, who knows. Nintendo lies about crap all the time. Hard to say if that's true or not, but really, simmer down, people. We're still dealing with the first two here. We're still dealing with SNES Classic Mini, and supposedly we're going to be seeing more NES Classic Minis next year. So let's just deal with those for now. Simmer down. Xbox One X, namely mostly the Project Scorpio version, has been having hardware issues out of the box, and people are upset. I've been told that some of the consoles are getting black screens, like you can turn it on and it just has a black screen. Other consoles won't even power on, and a lot of controllers showing up with messed up D-pads right out of the box, and that's really sad to hear because it's the most powerful game console ever released, and Microsoft dropping the ball, man. That's no good. That's just like, reminds me of the Xbox 360. Either way, sad to hear. I hope they get those issues ironed out, because yeah, that sucks to put out the most powerful game console and have a bunch of people upset that their console is broken. Or, like, I saw one video where the guy's console broke in 2 days, stopped powering on after 2 days, and it's like, oh, ouch, that's shitty. One last news item here. Target is actually selling Intellivision mugs and Intellivision water glasses now. And the Intellivision mug is priced for $12.99, and it's pretty freaking cool. It's like Evolution of Man, but like when you put like a hot liquid in the cup, the Intellivision Running Man pops up. That's pretty cool. And then the water cup has like a diagram of a controller, Intellivision controller, and yeah, both of them look cool. I totally want both of them. But yeah, that's it all. That's, I'm stoned and tired. I'm glad this episode is over. I'm gonna get more stoned and take a nap, I think. But thank you so much for the feedback on the last episode, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next Sunday. If I don't put out any videos in the meantime, I do hope to. I think I might have figured out how to get my game reviews done easier, more easy. Simplistic game reviews, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do the complex ones anymore. Matter of fact, I haven't had desire to do like an HD game review in years, so yeah. Anyhow, I am tired. I am falling asleep already, so see you next time, guys.